preposterous. That is how a former federal judge described the Justice Department's move last month to dismiss the charges against President Trump's first national security advisor, Michael Flynn. In an amicus brief filed today, retired Judge John Gleeson offered a scathing rebuke of the Justice Department's contradictory and legally unsound arguments and recommended that the judge overseeing Michael Flynn's case deny the government's request and move to sentence Michael Flynn for twice pleading guilty to lying to the FBI. John Gleeson said that the Justice Department was engaging in what he called highly irregular conduct that was corrupt and politically motivated. He wrote, "The facts surrounding the filing of the government's motion constitute clear evidence of gross prosecutorial abuse. They reveal an unconvincing effort to disguise as legitimate a decision to dismiss that is based solely on the fact that Flynn is a political ally of President Trump." John Gleeson said that Attorney General William Barr's Justice Department has, quote, abdicated its responsibility to prosecute cases fairly. He wrote, "It has treated the case like no other, and in doing so has undermined the public's confidence in the rule of law." Joining our discussion now is Matt Miller, a former spokesperson for the Attorney General, Eric Holder, and an MSNBC contributor. Matt, your reaction to this extraordinary filing in this case?
I think extraordinary is the right word. It really was a detailed and devastating rebuttal to the argument the Justice Department has been making. That Judge Gleeson was really trying to answer two questions. One, does the judge in this case have the authority to reject the department's attempt to dismiss this case? And two, if he has the authority, should he? And the conclusion he came to is that usually judges should defer to the Justice Department. The Justice Department just gets to decide who to prosecute, who not to prosecute. But in a case where the Justice Department is acting so transparently corrupt and when their actions are so obviously politically motivated, for the judge to just defer to them would implicate the judge himself in the Justice Department's corruption. And so not only does he have the authority, but that he should exercise that authority and just move to sentence Michael Flynn.
As you read it, you can feel just how astounded Gleeson is at what he's uncovering in this. And he says that Flynn committed perjury in his attempt to change course in this case. But the judge should just factor that in when he's sentencing him. So could the scenario be that the judge goes forward, sentences Michael Flynn, and then Donald Trump pardons Michael Flynn? Or will Donald Trump intervene before the judge chooses to sentence Michael Flynn?
The president could intervene at any point, but there's one other possibility, and that is that the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, where Michael Flynn's lawyer went to try to get them to sort of yank this out of Judge Sullivan's hands and intervene in the case, they may take it out of Judge Sullivan's hands. Judge Sullivan drew an unfortunate panel, two, I think, pretty good allies of the president on that panel. We don't know what the full circuit would rule if it ever got to them, but it's possible that Judge Sullivan will never even be allowed to rule on this case. But if so, look, I think ultimately we all know that the president would pardon Mike Flynn. But I think the point that Judge Gleeson was making in his argument today, look, the president can pardon him and suffer the political consequences. But if he wants to do that, he needs to do it transparently. He needs to step forth and give him the pardon and pay the price for that. Not try to fly under the radar and in the name of justice, make a transparently self-serving and transparently political argument through the Justice Department as the Attorney General did in this case.
Well, the challenge for Flynn may be that Donald Trump might only have a few months left in his presidency to issue this pardon. The morning of January 20th might be the last minute, and the process that we're in now might not be completed by that time.
It might not be completed by that time, and I suspect the same with Roger Stone. I suspect before Mike Flynn ever sees the inside of a jail cell, whether it's January 20th or whether sometime before that, the president will intervene and pardon him. He's sent all the signals in the world that that's what he intends to do. Bill Barr's trying to let him off the hook and do it for him, but if he's unsuccessful, I think you're right. The president will intervene at some point.